Hello, welcome to Three Questions with. Got my buddy Richard Byers with us. Good morning, Rick. How you doing today?
Good. How you doing, Kevin?
Just living the dream, my friend. So, Rick, let's just jump in. Tell us a little bit about your law practice.
So my practice is it's primarily real estate, residential, commercial, representing buyers and sellers. I do a lot of land use work. I have experience from being on the zoning board in North Andover for 12 years. So if somebody needs a variance from the zoning board, or they're dealing with a town's planning board or conservation commission, and they need representation, I have a lot of experience in that field as well. And on the conveyancing side or closing side, again, residential, a lot of commercial stuff. That's basically the bulk of my practice. And I do some business law if someone needs to set up. Yeah, I've commercial developers. They need to set up an entity or an LLC. And even businesses, small businesses, just represented a buyer of an Elements, and represented some restaurants in the sale of their business and the purchase. So not necessarily real estate related, but if they own the building, even better. I can do it all. So that's the bulk of my practice.
So, Rick, let's go back to appearing before boards in towns. I think that's really important to make sure you have someone like yourself who has experience doing that. Because people just think they just walk in and, oh, this is what we're going to do. And then when it doesn't go their way, they're like, I'm confused. Like, why wouldn't they do this? That experience and knowing, okay, this is, when you go into this town, this is the types of things you're going to hear and see. That's why it's important to bring you, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and plenty of times when I was sitting on the board in North Andover, and people would come in without an attorney, and I felt bad for them because some of them didn't know what the hell they were doing. But it's really important, and it's important to have a good team. There's great. It comes down to a really good engineer and an attorney who knows the process. And sometimes each town's a little different. And sometimes, there's a regular person that they get to see a lot. But I've prepared, I've gone into from Andover to North Andover to Methuen project in Haverhill. And I know a lot of the players up in the Merrimack Valley, because I've been on the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission for a long time. I still am. And so I know a lot of the town planners and building inspectors and board members just because I've served with them. So it's good to have an inside person. You make a couple of phone calls and figure out what you need to do and know who to call.
Yeah,
so
that's where the guidance is essential, Rick. I agree.
very
Rick,
political.
Let's talk a little bit about cash buyers, because I'm impressed. I got some friends that, maybe they sold their residence, they're buying something else, and Rick, I'm buying this. It's like $925. I'm going cash. I'm like, okay, then. Congratulations.
Yeah,
$925,000.
yeah.
But you also need an attorney, because people think, oh, it's just a cash deal. I don't need an attorney to review all the documents. Huge mistake.
Yeah, well, even on a cash deal, when there's a bank involved, there's a bank attorney. If there's no bank attorney, if it's a cash deal, you still need somebody to review the title and to actually do the closing. So on a cash deal, I just did a cash deal last week on a condo in Haverhill. It's really the same level of work. You still need someone to prepare the settlement statement. You need somebody to disperse the proceeds. You need somebody to do the title search, to get a municipal lien certificate, check on the taxes, to do all the adjustments. So you still need somebody. Like I said, it's pretty much the same work you would do if you represent a lender. It's a lot easier for the buyer's attorney, when there's no bank involved. The closings are a lot shorter, and there's not as many documents to sign, which is nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, you still need someone to protect you. Absolutely.
So last question, Rick. When people are buying a home, they have a right to choose their attorney. Because often, like you mentioned, banks or whatever, like, oh, I'll just ask the mortgage person or the realtor, like, who's on their team, if you will. But I have a right to choose who I want on my team, right?
You should be able to, yes, but there are some small lenders, credit unions, very political. Some banks do have a list and they
Yes.
force you to pick somebody on the list. The bigger lenders seem to be more open to whoever you have, as long as as long as we are licensed and have our we're title insurance producers, agents, we can do the closing. But yeah, you're right, and it is very yeah. Most of the smaller, a lot of the smaller banks, I've run into that where you're not on the list. But for the most part, the bigger lenders are open to let anybody, but technically they're supposed to let you use your own attorney.
As a
From my
former
understanding.
banker, I can relate to the list.
Yeah,
I've seen that
yeah.
stuff.
That's right. That's right. I
Yeah,
forgot. Yeah,
they
that's right.
use
You
it,
are. Yeah.
and you and I can disagree over that one because I don't see the need of a list either.
Right. Right.
If Rick's my attorney, I want to use my attorney.
Yeah. Yeah.
Respectfully, he's my guy.
As I say, if you're on the list, you're okay with the list. But if you're not happy with
Exactly.
it.
That's a good
Exactly.
close. So, Rick, how do
Yeah.
people reach out to you? How can they learn more, man?
They can find me on the web. I have a website. It's Richard J. Byers, attorney at law. They can email me at rjbyers@andoverattorneys.com. They can call me at 978-794-7920.
Rick, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to call into the show. And as
All right.
always, thanks for being my friend.
All right. Nice seeing you. Thank you. Take care.